Chapter 242. Chapter 242. Missing something. Sun Jingyi curled her lips, not believing Lin Yi's words. Lin Yi's skills were decent, that much Sun Jingyi believed. Even the heir of the Iron Fist House of Wu had fallen at Lin Yi's hands, and that was a testament to how skilled Lin Yi was. But as skilled as he was, Sun Jingyi didn't believe that Lin Yi's uncle master was the world's best thief. If he was, then Lin Yi wouldn't have been able to survive in a small city like Songshan. Wasn't he a bit too poor for that? Just how rich would the world's best thief have to be? His uncle master was a thief, but his master wasn't. What kind of weird sect was that? So Sun Jingyi took Lin Yi's words as a bluff. All right. If you're sure that you're willing to take half of the price, then I'll agree, Sun Jingyi said. But you can't go back on your word. Lin Yi frowned as he looked at the weird expression on Jingyi's face. He couldn't help but feel suspicious. Was there something wrong with this? But when he thought about it, there didn't seem to be anything wrong. Was the price the other party was offering really low? But that didn't seem possible. If the price wasn't high, why would Sun Jingyi come all the way here to look for him? Why would she offer him a high price? Lin Yi had a feeling that something was wrong here, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. Hey, are you going to agree or not? Jingyi was starting to panic. Little handsome, you're younger than me, but you're a man. A man's words are like water that's been spilled, and a man's words are like spilled water. A gentleman's word is a promise. All right, I won't go back on my word. I'll take half of what the other party offers. Lin Yi felt a little helpless. He was indeed the one who said it. If he went back on his words, it wouldn't be right. All right, remember what you said. Sun Jingyi was a little excited. Lin Yi actually agreed. Let's go eat first. We'll talk while eating. I'll bring you to a good place. Looking at the incomparably excited Sun Jingyi, Lin Yi's heart sank. He increasingly felt that there was definitely a problem here. He didn't know what he had overlooked. However, since he couldn't figure it out, Lin Yi didn't bother thinking about it. At most, he would just waste this time. Stealing a piece of information wasn't a difficult task. Sun Jingyi's so-called good place turned out to be a food stall on the street, which made Lin Yi a little speechless. He thought that Sun Jingyi would invite him to some high-class hotel or something. Sun Jingyi parked the car in the free parking space on the side. In fact, it was on the roadside without a no parking sign. She got off the car with Lin Yi. It's this place. The authentic spicy skewers are very delicious. Lin Yi was a little speechless, but he really liked to eat this thing. Boss, give me a small basin. Sun Jingyi asked for a small basin from the boss of the spicy skewers with ease. The scar-faced man turned his head and wanted to push Lin Yi. He had long seen that this kid was a hindrance. He was looking for a reason to make him give up his seat, and this reason came himself. Pa. The answer to the scar-faced man was a loud slap in the face. Lin Yi just beat Zhu Ruoming in the morning. He didn't enjoy it very much. With Wang Jifeng around, he couldn't beat Zhu Ruoming too seriously in public. But now he had no scruples. So, this slap made half of the scar-faced man's face like a steamed bun, and it instantly swelled up. I hate it when people scold my mother. Lin Yi didn't have a mother since he was a child, so it was a taboo for others to mention his mother. You dare to hit me? The scar-faced man looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. He could be said to be the master of this food street. Don't talk about being beaten, no one would even speak loudly. So, Lin Yi's slap stunned the scar-faced man. Get lost. Lin Yi looked at the scar-faced man with disdain. He looked down on people like the scar-faced man. Not only did he collect protection fees, but he also came out to flirt with women. Chapter 243. A strange condition. Bam. Sun Jingyi shrieked subconsciously. She'd brought Lin Yi here to discuss some serious business, but she hadn't expected to run into a bunch of hooligans. If Lin Yi was injured and had his head smashed open, who would help her steal the information? However, it was Scarface who had his head smashed open. The beer bottle had landed in Lin Yi's hands, but there was only half of it left. The other half had exploded on Scarface's head. Scarface was clearly a ruthless person. He didn't cry out even after being hit on the head by Lin Yi. Instead, it made him even more ruthless. He stood up coldly and glared at Lin Yi. "Brother, what kind of gang do you hang out with? Don't you know that the North Market is under Scarface's protection? Did you come here to cause trouble?" Scram. Lin Yi said the same word, but this time, he did something else. He threw the skewer that Scarface had finished eating out of the table, stabbing it into the side of his face that didn't have a scar on it. It pierced a hole through the skin of Scarface's face. Ouch! Scarface howled in pain. The nerves in his face were quite dense, and having a hole in his cheek was naturally painful. He hadn't cried out when the beer bottle hit him, but this time, he couldn't hold it in any longer. It was too painful. Scarface was a little frightened. The bamboo skewer was light, and Lin Yi had casually thrown it, and it had stabbed into his cheek. This wasn't something an ordinary person could do. Scarface was a little manly, though. He only cried out when the skewer stabbed into his cheek, but didn't cry out afterward. Gritting his teeth, he pulled the skewer out and looked at Lin Yi. "Brother, I admit that I'm not as skilled as you, but you have to think of a way out. Don't push people too far. Who's your brother?" "I'm an orphan. Keep this up and I'll keep stabbing you," Lin Yi said casually, not even raising his head. He was looking down on Scarface. "It's a small world. Let's wait and see." Scarface coldly snorted and left behind some ruthless words. "If you have the guts, then wait here for me. If you want to call someone, then hurry up. I can't wait. I still have things to do after eating. If you don't come, then I'll leave." Lin Yi wasn't provoked at all. Scarface's provocation didn't work on him. Scarface's expression changed. He waved at the remaining 3 brothers and quickly left the stall. "Brother Scarface, why don't you let us brothers go up?" one of Scarface's lackeys called Purple Hair asked. "The other party is a tough opponent. He might be a martial artist. You guys will be at a disadvantage if you go up." Scarface was not stupid. Someone who can throw a bamboo skewer into my face is definitely not an ordinary person. When Scarface said this, Purple Hair and the others all nodded in agreement. "That's right, then what should we do? Should he just accept this loss like that? How are we going to survive in the food street in the future? Of course we can't just let it go like that. We'll go back and get Guang Bro to help us," Scarface said. "Yes, get Guang Bro and get Guang Bro to kill him," Purple Hair said excitedly. "We'll go get Guang Bro right now." Sun Jingyi was shocked when she heard Lin Yi call himself an orphan. She didn't think that Lin Yi was an orphan. Of course, she didn't think that Lin Yi was joking. No one would joke about their background like that. Of course, this wasn't the only thing that shocked Sun Jingyi. Lin Yi's skills just now. She knew that Lin Yi was very fast. To be able to steal Wu Chuntian's wallet, he had to be fast. But Lin Yi was also this fast when it came to fighting. She didn't even see how the bottle in Scarface's hand got into Lin Yi's hand before Scarface's head exploded. And that bamboo skewer could be used as a dart. What kind of person was this? She lowered her head and was about to ask Lin Yi if he knew Kung Fu when she saw that Lin Yi had already buried his head in a bowl of spicy skewers. Sun Jingyi was speechless. He had just beaten someone up. It was so bloody, and now he was eating as if nothing had happened. "Oh, right. Let's talk about the information you asked me to steal." Lin Yi slowed down after eating more than 20 spicy skewers and said to Sun Jingyi, "The other party is a trading company like us. We have similar projects, office supplies, and computers," Sun Jingyi explained when she heard Lin Yi's question, "but one of our managers gave their supervisor a certain amount of rebates when negotiating with a big company. We don't know how this happened, but someone from the other company filmed it, and now they're using it to threaten our company." "Oh, is that so? Doesn't their company do things like this?" Lin Yi asked as he took out another 2 spicy skewers. "It's not a secret in the industry. If you want to get business, how can you not give the supervisor some benefits? They're doing it too, but we were filmed," Sun Jingyi said helplessly. "What's the harm in exposing it?" Lin Yi asked. "We might be punished by the related departments, and of course, we'll lose that customer. He's a big customer of our company. Every year, he buys tens of millions of RMB worth of computers and related office equipment from us. If this is exposed, not only will he lose his position as a supervisor, he might even be held accountable by the company. Sun Jingyi said, the most important thing is, which company would dare to work with us in the future? We might be exposed for taking rebates. Who would want to work with this kind of unsafe company? I'm afraid we'll have to close down. It's that serious. Lin Yi didn't know much about business, but after listening to Sun Jingyi's explanation, he understood the gist of it. Then what did the other party's company ask for? If they only wanted to attack you, as a competitor, they would have released the video already. They wouldn't have waited until you asked me to steal it. That's right. Jingyi nodded. It's not good for us to announce it, but it's not good for them either. After all, it's not like we're the only two trading companies in Songshan, there's a lot of them. It's not like we're the only ones in Songshan, it's not like we'll be the ones losing our customers. Tell me their conditions. Lin Yi was interested in this. Their condition is, the boss of that company wants me to be his mistress. Sun Jingyi said. Fut. Lin Yi spat out half a mouthful of spicy skewer. What did you say? Their condition is for you to be his mistress. Chapter 244. What was he doing out here? Half of a lover. Lin Yi was speechless. There was a half of a lover. Yeah, we'll announce to the public that we're a couple, but in reality, I won't fulfill the obligations of a couple. Sun Jingyi nodded. From now on, you'll appear in front of my friends as my boyfriend. Lin Yi finally realized where he'd fallen into the trap. This trap was as big as it could get. Not only did he have to steal information for Sun Jingyi for free, he even had to pretend to be her boyfriend for free. Wasn't this too much of a deal? But he'd set the rules and payments. Who could he blame? No wonder he'd felt that something was off. Something was definitely off. You win. Lin Yi didn't want to go back on his words. He wasn't that shameless, and he had to keep his word. But, the boss did all this just to make you his lover? That's right, I don't know. You can ask him if you don't believe me. Everyone in the industry knows that he has feelings for me. Sun Jingyi said. Isn't that Wu Chentian chasing after you? Why don't you ask him for help? Lin Yi asked. That Wu Chentian's nickname was Iron Fist Wu, and he was very skilled in martial arts. Stealing information shouldn't be a problem. I don't want to have too much to do with him. I don't have any feelings for him. Sun Jingyi shook her head. Are you going back on your word? Nope. Where's the information? I'll get it for you. Lin Yi saw that Sun Jingyi didn't want to talk about Wu Chentian, so he didn't ask. The information is at his lodging. We'll do it tonight. Sun Jingyi said. All right, tonight it is then. Lin Yi didn't really mind. I won't take half of the lover's payment. That won't do. Sun Jingyi refused flatly, shaking her head. I've told you many times before that you're going to take half of the other party's offer. You're very sure of it, and now you're going back on your word. I can't even take it. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. No. Absolutely not. Sun Jingyi said, you help me, I pay you, it's only right and proper. All right. Lin Yi was a little helpless, but seeing that Sun Jingyi was so adamant, there was nothing he could do. After all, Lin Yi did agree to it. As the two of them were talking, they saw a group of gangsters running over. Scarface was among them. As he ran, he said to one of them, Brother Guang, it's him. It's this kid. He stopped me from collecting protection fees and even hit me. It had to be said that this Scarface's imagination was quite rich. He turned the ugly matter of him teasing Sun Jingyi into Lin Yi obstructing him from collecting protection fees and tricking his boss to come here to settle the matter. When the stall owner saw who it was, his face suddenly changed. He quickly reminded Lin Yi and Sun Jingyi, little brother, you should run quickly. Brother Scarface called his boss over. He must be here to teach you a lesson. I haven't finished eating yet. If they want to come, let them come. Lin Yi didn't care at all. He was still eating the spicy skewers slowly. Ari, the owner of the spicy skewers, sighed. Anyway, he had done his best. Since this person didn't listen, there was nothing he could do. He hoped that when Brother Guang came, he wouldn't implicate him. Hey, they have a lot of people. Do you have the confidence to settle it? Although Sun Jingyi felt that Lin Yi's skills were very good, after all, 2 fists couldn't fight 4 hands. With so many people coming to find trouble, could Lin Yi solve it? Are there a lot of people? Lin Yi put down the bamboo skewer in his hand. When he looked up, he was delighted. It was actually an acquaintance. And this acquaintance was clamoring at the moment. Who dares to cause trouble in the North District? Do you have no respect for my brother Guang's reputation? Scarface's boss walked over arrogantly and shouted into the spicy skewers stall. Heh, we meet again. Lin Yi smiled faintly and looked at brother Guang. People say that it takes 100 days to recover from a serious injury. Instead of lying down at home, you ran out here to become a cripple. When brother Guang saw Lin Yi, his face suddenly changed. This brother Guang was naturally the head of the North District's gangsters, Zhu Ruoguang. He never thought that he would meet the person he met in the hospital a few days ago here again. In the hospital, Lin Yi's ruthlessness was still fresh in Zhu Ruoguang's memory. This kid was simply a violent maniac. When he abused people, he didn't even blink. He treated his wrist as a toy, pulling and pulling it several times. At that moment, Zhu Ruoguang's face was very ugly. Although he had a lot of underlings, he didn't dare to touch Lin Yi. He was actually very timid. He was afraid that once his underlings weren't a match for Lin Yi, his ending today would definitely be worse than the previous 2 days. Last time, he broke his wrist. This time, he might break his leg. Ha! It's this brother. Zhu Ruoguang laughed. He didn't dare to provoke Lin Yi for the time being, but he didn't want to lose face either. He could only pretend to be familiar with Lin Yi. It's really a case of water rushing against the temple of the Dragon King. Family doesn't recognize family anymore. Scar, this brother definitely wouldn't stop you from collecting protection fees for no reason. Tell me the truth. What's going on? Actually, how could Zhu Ruoguang not know that Scarface was using this as a pretext? Scarface's underlings wouldn't be so loyal to Scarface. Zhu Ruoguang had heard about what happened before. As for why he still stood up for Scarface after knowing the situation, it was because Scarface was his underling. When his underling was bullied, he naturally had to stand up for him as the big brother. On the other hand, it was also because he was taught a lesson by Lin Yi over the weekend and didn't dare to fight back. His heart was depressed, so he wanted to teach others a lesson to vent his anger. In the end, he met Lin Yi here. Zhu Ruoguang secretly cursed his bad luck. Scarface was stunned. He didn't expect his boss to change his attitude the moment he came. He immediately realized that things weren't simple. He was the boss of the market nearby, so he naturally wasn't stupid. Brother Guang came to stand up for him, but his attitude towards Lin Yi was very good. This gave Scarface a bad feeling. Could it be that this person was really a ruthless person? Even the boss had to be respectful to him. I'm sorry, Brother Guang. I caused trouble. I just said a few words to this big brother's woman. Scarface didn't quibble. He knew that Brother Guang was going to punish him at this time. Pa. Zhu Ruoguang slapped him. Who asked you to be so cocky? Apologize now. I'm sorry. Scarface quickly apologized to Lin Yi and Sun Jingyi. All right, stop acting. I don't have time to watch you act. Lin Yi waved his hand impatiently. Boss, Bill. Chapter 245. Chapter 245. You have too many troubles. Do I look like someone like him? Lin Yi pointed at Scarface, a little annoyed he'd always had to pay for his meals even if he didn't have to pay for them. He'd never dashed before. Of course not, bro. The owner's face froze. He hadn't expected his flattery to backfire. The guy didn't lack money at all, so he didn't have to pay. All right, I'll calculate how much it is. The owner didn't bother counting and just weighed the skewers on the table. There were about 100 of them. Let's make it 100, and I'll take 50 instead. Pay up. Lin Yi looked at Sun Jingyi. Sun Jingyi was a little taken aback. She'd thought that Lin Yi was going to treat them, but in the end, he was asking her to pay. The owner didn't know whether to laugh or cry. So you're not the one paying? Then why are you asking your friend to spend more? Isn't this free of charge good enough? Sun Jingyi took out her wallet and handed a 50 kwai bill to the owner. She glared at Lin Yi before leaving the food stall with him. Scarface secretly cursed. This gigolo came out to be pretentious and spend a woman's money. He was really something. However, he only thought about it in his heart. How could he dare to offend someone that even his boss, Zhu Ruoguang, didn't dare to offend? After Lin Yi left, Zhu Ruoguang looked at Scarface with a dark expression. It's all your fault. Damn it, I almost ended up in the hospital again. What's wrong? Scarface started. Not only did his brother not dare offend Lin Yi, he was actually scared of Lin Yi. Guang bro, is that kid strong? Strong? Look at how my hands were broken. Zhu Ruoguang shook his 2 hands wrapped in gauze. He broke them. Do you think you can afford to piss off a lunatic like that? He's ridiculously strong, and no matter how many people there are, there's still no match for him. Ah! So powerful. Scarface was stunned. Could this be the legendary martial arts master? Hurry up and go back. Don't embarrass yourself here. Zhu Ruoguang was a little annoyed. Look carefully next time. Don't provoke such a tough guy. Yes, brother Guang. Scarface was also very depressed. How would I know that this kid was so powerful? If I had known earlier, why would I have provoked him? Am I not sick? Sigh, what a femme fatale. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have flirted with Sun Jingyi, and I wouldn't have gotten myself into so much trouble. After getting in the car, Sun Jingyi glared at Lin Yi with some reproach. You didn't pay the bill, and the boss waived the bill. Are you still unwilling? Those peddlers don't make much money. Lin Yi said, $50 is more or less the cost. Chem. Sun Jingyi paused. She didn't think that much before, but now that she heard Lin Yi's words, it was true. If they had money, why would they work in a food stall under the hot sun? This made Sun Jingyi see Lin Yi in a new light. In actuality, Lin Yi only thought of Tang Yun's family and didn't want to take advantage of the spicy skewer owner. As for whether or not Scarface would continue to collect protection fees from him, that wasn't something Lin Yi could control. Everyone had their own lives, and Lin Yi couldn't just stick his nose into it. Where are you going, honey? Sun Jingyi backed out of the car and looked at Lin Yi gently. Honey. Lin Yi paused. Who are you talking to? I'm talking to you. You are my lover now. Although it's only half, I can still call you that. Sun Jingyi looked at Lin Yi with a smile that wasn't a smile. Why? Is it embarrassing for you to be in a relationship with a younger brother? Lin Yi was speechless. This girl seemed to be quite open-minded, but it didn't seem to be the case. Otherwise, she wouldn't have rejected the company's boss. However, why did she look for him? Did she think that he was easy to bully? Or did she think that he wouldn't do anything to her? Let me tell you, you are playing with fire here. What if one day, I become real? Lin Yi warned Sun Jingyi. Okay, sister also wants to see if we can develop feelings after a long time. Sun Jingyi looked at Lin Yi with a smile. It seemed that she didn't take Lin Yi's words seriously at all. Send me to the previous place. Lin Yi rolled his eyes and ignored her. Songshan First High School? Sun Jingyi was a bit strange. Why are you still going to the previous place? Why are you asking so much? Lin Yi frowned. Do you not want me to help you tonight? TSK, I'm already your lover. You have already received the payment. If you don't want to help me, then don't help me. Sun Jingyi shrugged indifferently. Pick me up there at night. After this, we don't owe each other anymore. Lin Yi didn't want to have too much to do with Sun Jingyi. Although this woman was beautiful and had the kind of mature temperament that Tang Yun, Meng Yarrow, and Yushu didn't have, Lin Yi's intuition told him that this woman was very troublesome. If he got involved with her, he would definitely be in trouble in the future. Today, she made him become a great thief. Tomorrow, would he kill people and rob them? Thinking about it, it was very possible. From that Wu Chentian, he could infer that Sun Jingyi's family was definitely not simple. Otherwise, she wouldn't be friends with the Iron Fist Wu family. Although he didn't know why Sun Jingyi didn't use the power of her family to solve the problem in front of her, but this kind of trouble caused by a princess of a noble family was definitely troublesome. Lin Yi didn't want to solve her problems professionally. Hey, how can you be like this? Don't want to take responsibility? Sun Jingyi listened to Lin Yi and looked at Lin Yi with a hidden bitterness in her eyes. Lover, not wife yet, so you can break up at any time. Lin Yi said faintly, I'm telling you now, you are dumped by me. In the future, you won't be. Sun Jingyi looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. She was a great beauty. She was in front of him, and he wasn't moved. At least there was a line of people chasing after her. Even if she didn't really become his lover, a fake lover could satisfy his vanity. With a beauty by his side, he would always be envied by others. Are you really not interested in my sister? Sun Jingyi couldn't help but ask. Yes, Lin Yi said straightforwardly. Ah! Sun Jingyi thought that Lin Yi would definitely say no, but she didn't expect Lin Yi to say yes. This surprised her a little, and she was a little confused. Then why are you still dumping me? Chapter 246. Chapter 246. The perfect candidate. This Sun Jingyi, on the other hand, seemed to be even more troublesome than Lingshan. At the very least, Lingshan was more straightforward, while Sun Jingyi was too much of a liar. Sun Jingyi exploded at Lin Yi's words. There were so many people lining up to help her out, like Wu Chentian, who she'd ignored before coming to Lin Yi, and now he was calling her troublesome? Fine, I don't care. I'll come to you if I need anything in the future. Sun Jingyi said shamelessly. Lin Yi didn't say anything else. Go find him if you want to, it'd depend on my mood whether I came or not. He told Sun Jingyi to drop him off at the food street behind the school, and waited for Sun Jingyi's car to leave before Lin Yi turned back to school. Pin Liang, accompanied by his lawyer, met Heibao Bro at the designated hospital in Songshan's detention center. Heibao Bro. Pin Liang couldn't help but be shocked when he saw the bandages all over Heibao Bro's body. Heibao smiled bitterly, not expecting to be crippled as a golden class late phase peak. His meridians were all severed, and he was lying on a hospital bed in a state worse than death. Heibao wasn't in the detention center right now, so there were no police officers in the room other than the lawyer. Fabai could handle things like this, and it wasn't hard for him to meet Heibao alone. Master Zhong, you're here. Heibao looked at Pin Liang, a trace of sadness on his face. I underestimated my enemy. I didn't expect that Lin Yi to be this strong. He's the same as me, a golden class late phase peak. What? He's a golden class late phase peak? Fabai paused, looking at Heibao in disbelief. Heibao, are you telling the truth? Boss, why would I lie to you about something like this? Heibao smiled bitterly. So, boss, young Master Zhong, I advise you not to touch Lin Yi before you have absolute certainty. You are not his match. Although Heibao's words weren't very pleasant, they were still harsh to the ear. Fabai and Pin Liang understood this principle. They were no match for Lin Yi. On the other hand, Fabai didn't care much. Lin Yi didn't have much of a relationship with him, so he didn't care if he attacked Lin Yi or not. Pin Liang's expression, however, changed drastically. He saw Lin Yi as an opponent that he had to eliminate in this life. Although Zhu Ruoming was the one who had humiliated him that night, it was Lin Yi who had caused it. Pin Liang clenched his fists at the memory. Heibao bro, you have no idea how much humiliation I went through that day. It wasn't any worse than yours. Ha! Master Zhong, do you really want to get rid of Lin Yi? Heibao bro smiled suddenly, looking at Pin Liang strangely. Of course I do. Heibao bro, do you have any good ideas? Pin Liang knew that Heibao bro had a plan when he saw his smile. Yes, but... Heibao bro looked at the people in the room, hesitating. You can leave first. Zhong Fabai waved his hand at the lawyer. Pin Liang paused. Geography wasn't his forte, but he'd never heard of this mountain, let alone any sects on it. I'll draw a detailed map for you. Heibao said. Of course, if you have someone you can trust, you can ask him to go in your place. When he returns, he'll be able to help you kill Lin Yi and avenge me. I'm only saying this because I hope that you can avenge me, Master Zhong. Someone I can trust. Pin Liang frowned as he thought of someone. That's right, he could ask him to go. Pin Liang suddenly thought of Zhong Naipao. Chapter 247. Learning in the mountains. Pin Liang raised his head to look at Fabai, and their eyes met. Fabai seemed to have thought of someone as well. Pin Liang, you want Zhong Naipao to go? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I've decided to go talk to him. Pinliang didn't hide it. Naipao's been with me for years, and I know him. We helped his family get through this, so it shouldn't be a problem if I let him go. Alright, go talk to him then. Fabai was moved as well. If his son could have a master at the peak of the late phase of the golden class, then the Zhong family wouldn't have to rely on the Jin family to survive in Songshan City. He wouldn't have to be restricted by his brother-in-law. At that time, the Zhong family would have a master, and they would have the right to speak in the upper class. Zhong Fabai suddenly had expectations. Thinking of this, Fabai thought that his son had done a smart thing, which was to win over the hearts of his subordinates and cultivate an absolute confidant. If Heibao was Fabai's confidant, then Zhong Naipao was Pinliang's confidant. Heibao wouldn't have been able to share so many secrets with him if he wasn't his confidant. After getting the map of Springstar Mountain, Fabai sent Pinliang back to school, leaving the lawyer to figure out how to lighten Heibao's punishment. Heibao had injured a police officer, and then escaped. His punishment wouldn't be light, either. Pinliang had a depressed look on his face on the way to Heibao Bro, but his face was filled with joy and excitement on the way back to school. As long as he followed Heibao Bro's advice, Naipao would be able to learn martial arts in the mountains, and he wouldn't have to be afraid of Lin Yi anymore. He'd be able to kill Lin Yi in one hit. Ha ha ha, what a great feeling that would be. Just thinking about it made him excited. Helping Naipao's family was the best thing he'd ever done. Pinliang didn't want to help Naipao, he was afraid that he wouldn't get anything out of it. But now, it was all worth it. Pinliang called Naipao outside the classroom as soon as he got back to school. Naipao, come with me, I need to talk to you. Liang bro. Naipao was getting more and more respectful towards Pinliang these days. Not only did Pinliang give his family 700,000, but he'd also give his father another 300,000 to restart his business. Naipao was very grateful. His family would have been done for him if it weren't for Pinliang. His father would have been forced to commit suicide, and his brother would have been forced to sell his kidney. How would he and his mother survive? Pinliang, on the other hand, had helped them change everything, and so Naipao thanked his boss from the bottom of his heart. He felt like he hadn't followed Pinliang for nothing. He quickly followed Pinliang out of the classroom. Liang bro, what's up? Pow Naipao, Pinliang said. Pow pow. Pinliang Naipao, Pinliang Liang. Pow of pa pow with, Pinliang said. Pow Pinliang the first class, the afternoon, at. Of, Pinliang, go of the yun of lin of in pin. Pento the school ching. Pinliang frowned when he saw that someone was there, but Naipao understood immediately. Clear the place, everyone get out, Liang bro needs to use the washroom. These people were gangsters in the school, but they were a far cry from the big four. Pinliang might have been beaten up a couple of times by Lin Yi, and wasn't as popular as he used to be, but these gangsters still didn't dare mess with him. They all smiled and backed out of the washroom when they saw Pinliang. Liang bro, is there something you need to talk to me about? Naipao wasn't an idiot. Pinliang wouldn't ask him to go to the washroom with him for no reason. Pow, you've been with me for a long time, there's something I need your opinion on, Pinliang said after some hesitation. What's the matter, Liang bro? Just say it, why do you need my opinion? Your opinion is my opinion, Naipao said straightforwardly. All right. Pinliang nodded as he took out a pack of cigarettes, giving one to Naipao before putting one in his mouth. I didn't make you my brother for nothing, but I still need to talk to you about this. It's a big deal, after all. Go ahead, Liang bro. Naipao took out his lighter and lit up the cigarette for Pinliang before lighting his own. Pow, here's a chance for you to become a Wulin master. Are you willing? Pinliang said in a low voice. Become a Wulin master? Naipao blinked. You're not joking, are you, Liang bro? Do I look like I'm joking? Pinliang said. Pow, you know Heibao bro, right? You saw the news about him escaping from the police, right? His strength increased all of a sudden, and he was able to escape even when surrounded by the police. Do you know why? Could it be that Heibao bro is a Wulin master? Naipao said subconsciously. That's right. There's a secret art in his sect that can increase strength quickly, but it's flawed. There's a time limit, and you'd have to pay the price of your lifespan. It's not very good. Pin Liang said. Liang bro, you're asking me to learn this secret art? Nai Pao misunderstood Pin Liang's word. He thought that he was asking him to learn the art. It's just a few years of lifespan, no problem. Liang bro, if it weren't for you, my dad and brother would have been done for, and I wouldn't even be able to live. Pao, you misunderstand. I'm not asking you to learn this flawed art. I'm asking you to go up the mountain and learn martial arts. Join Heibao Bro's sect and become a true Wulin master, Pin Liang said with a wave of his hand. But it'll be a tough process according to Heibao Bro. It'll be like a monk, and you won't be able to get close to women. If you're willing, Heibao Bro can introduce you to him. Learn martial arts. Nai Pao didn't quite understand, but he agreed without hesitation. Liang bro, if you want me to learn martial arts, then I'll do it. What's so great about being an ascetic? The only thing I, Zhong Nai Pao, want in this life is to repay the kindness you've done for my family, Liang bro. As long as you give me that chance, I'll die even if you want me to, let alone be an ascetic. Chapter 248. Meng Yarrow was pissed. She was pissed. Very pissed. Wasn't this Lin Yiwei too good at causing trouble? Holding Tang Yun's hand and announcing that she was his woman in school? Did he even put her, the miss, in his eyes? Didn't he know that he was her follower and shield? If Tang Yun was his woman, then what was she? How was she supposed to use him as a shield? She couldn't just tell people that she was his concubine, could she? Are you jealous, Yarrow Yao? Why else would you be so angry? Yu Shu waved her hand in front of Meng Yao's eyes. Me? Jealous? I'm angry that he's not a good follower. He's supposed to be my shield, but he's hitting on girls. How is he supposed to be my shield now? Meng Yarrow, naturally, didn't think that she was being jealous. Jealous of Lin Yi? How was that possible? Oh, it's fine. You can say that you're his concubine, Yu Shu said. Concubine? Shu, you want me to be his concubine? Meng Yao's eyes widened in anger. Was she trying to comfort her or piss her off? What's wrong with being a concubine? I've always thought that I'd be someone's concubine in the future, and you're the main wife and I'm the concubine. Now, you're the concubine number 1, and I'm the concubine number 2, there's not much of a difference. Yu Shu said nonchalantly. You. Shu, I really don't know what to say to you. What's going on in that head of yours? Is being someone's concubine fun? Meng Yarrow was speechless. Her best friend's train of thought wasn't normal. She shouldn't talk to her when she was angry, or she'd get angrier and angrier until she died. Oh, it's pretty fun. Yu Shu flipped through the English book in front of her, bored. Yarrow Yao, there's a test in the afternoon, I'm going to study first. Meng Yarrow only remembered that there was an English test after Yu Shu's reminder. She had no choice but to take out her book, but she'd made up her mind to talk to Lin Yi. If he kept this up, she'd cut his salary. Meng Yarrow realized, tragically, that the only thing she could threaten Lin Yi with was his pay. There didn't seem to be anything else that could restrain him. After school, Meng Yarrow received a text that made her even angrier. Lin Yi texted her, saying that he had something to do tonight and would be home later. This pissed Meng Yarrow off. Shu, look at this Lin Yi guy, he's coming back a little late at night. Do you think he went on a date with Tang Yun? It should be. Yarrow sis. Yu Shu wanted to see the world in chaos. Meng Yarrow gritted her teeth as she replied to Lin Yi. If you dare come back late, I'll deduct a month's salary from you. Lin Yi looked at the message in his hand and felt a headache coming on. A month's salary would be deducted for one night out. Isn't this a little too ridiculous? Lin Yi smiled bitterly as he dialed Meng Yao's number. What's up? Meng Yarrow coldly picked up the phone. Miss, I really have something to do tonight. Lin Yi didn't know what was going on with Meng Yarrow. What is it? A date with Tang Yun? Meng Yarrow retorted. Lin Yi, can you mind your image? You're my shield. Even if you want to chase girls, can't you do it in private? You've caused a storm in the city, everyone knows about you and Tang Yun. How can I use you as a shield? Lin Yi froze for a moment before he realized that the miss was angry because of this. No wonder she was so angry. Yao Yao, I'm not going on a date tonight. I'm going to help a friend. Lin Yi explained. What friend? What kind of help? Meng Yao asked. It's that Sun Jingyi that I met at the bar the other day. She asked me to do something for her. She wants to pay me. Lin Yi purposely added the word pay to prevent Meng Yao from thinking that he was flirting with other girls. I don't care if you pay me or not. As long as they don't come looking for you. Meng Yao didn't want Lin Yi to go looking for Sun Jingyi, but she couldn't find a reason to stop him. She didn't know why she was angry. Maybe it was because she was afraid that those girls would come looking for her and affect her plan? That must be it. As long as he didn't bring those girls to school, he could do whatever he wanted. Meng Yao hung up the phone after she finished talking. Lin Yi shook his head. Did she let him go or not? Was his salary still going to be deducted? Lin Yi went to the food street behind the school and bumped into Tang Yun. Tang Yun was helping her mother after school. There was Kang Xiaobo and Liu Xinwen at the hospital. Tang Yun didn't need her help. Tang Yun jumped when she saw Lin Yi following her. She was embarrassed and didn't know what to do. However, there was a hint of joy in her heart. What happened today had spread throughout the school. But for some reason, Tang Yun wasn't as angry as she was when the love letter incident happened. Last time was a rumor, but this time, it was a fact. Tang Yun thought that it was probably like that. But was it really like that? Tang Yun shook her head. In her heart, she didn't reject Lin Yi anymore. On the contrary, when she was with him, she felt an inexplicable excitement and throbbing. Was she really in love at such a young age? You. What are you doing here? Tang Yun lowered her head. She didn't dare to look at Lin Yi. I'm waiting for a friend. She needs my help. Lin Yi paused. So I came to see you on the way. Tang Yun was a bit disappointed when she heard the first half of Lin Yi's sentence. So he didn't come to see her. But when she heard the second half, it was as if she had eaten honey. It was a sweet feeling. Oh. Tang Yun blushed. She felt complicated. Did she fall for him just like that? Don't. Your family's business is pretty busy. If you can't do it, you should hire a helper, Lin Yi said as he looked at Mrs. Tang's barbecue stand. It was already surrounded by students. Yeah. Mom said that if we keep this busy, we'll hire someone, Tang Yun said. Tang Yun was grateful to Lin Yi. If it wasn't for him, her family's business wouldn't be this popular. But thinking about their relationship, was this a way to repay him? Tang Yun didn't dare think about it anymore. Her heart was getting more and more confused. I'll go help my mom first. With that, Tang Yun turned around and left, ignoring Lin Yi. Looking at Tang Yun's back, Lin Yi fell into a daze for a moment. This kind of life was great. But as soon as he closed his eyes, that pair of resentful eyes pierced into Lin Yi's heart again. Chapter 249. Is there something wrong with your brain? Lin Yi had been waiting for 10 minutes when Sun Jingyi arrived. I thought you weren't coming, so I was getting ready to go home. Lin Yi lazily opened the car door and got in. There was a traffic jam on the way, and it's rush hour. Sun Jingyi said apologetically. Little hubby, let's go get something to eat first. Who's your hubby? Lin Yi frowned. Is there something wrong with your brain? Don't call me that, did I agree to it? Why was this girl so clingy? It was fine if Meng Yao heard it, she'd just throw a tantrum, but if Tang Yun heard it, she'd think that something was wrong with him. The worst part was that he could do something with Sun Jingyi, since Lin Yi wasn't someone who was afraid of trouble. The problem was that there was nothing going on between him and Sun Jingyi. Wouldn't it be unfair if he were to carry the title of Sun Jingyi's hubby? He'd have to help her solve the problem for free. I'm your lover now, why aren't you going to admit it? Sun Jingyi giggled. You said it yourself. A gentleman keeps his word. Lin Yi shut his mouth, he was the one who'd said it, and so he'd kept his promise to help Jingyi deal with the problem. Although, keeping his promise was one thing, it was normal for him to grumble a little. I'll admit it, but don't call me hubby from now on, it makes me nervous. Nothing good will come out of it. Lin Yi shrugged. Sure, I'll call you that when something good happens. Sun Jingyi said, taking advantage of the situation. Whatever. Lin Yi didn't want to say anything, to be honest. Sun Jingyi was really pretty. If it weren't so troublesome, Lin Yi would have been willing to flirt with her, but she was a pain in the ass. Let's skip the meal. Where are we going to steal the information? Let's get this over with. Going now might be a little troublesome. Jingyi looked at the time on the dashboard. According to the people I sent to keep an eye on them, Tongtian from the Tongtian Trading Company brought his mistress back to his place. They're probably in the middle of it right now, so it's not a good idea for you to make a move. I'd like to wait until they're asleep before you make your move. It's nothing. Lin Yi said indifferently, I'm stealing, not you. Hurry up, I have something to do tonight. All right. Since Lin Yi had said so, Sun Jingyi didn't say anything else. She drove to Zhong Tongtian's residence. It had to be said that the name Zhong Tongtian was very impressive. It was as if his hands and eyes were everywhere. Zhong Tongtian lived in a high-end villa district. Every house had its own independent villa. It could be seen that Zhong Tongtian's company was indeed very profitable. People who did business usually had some connections. If they didn't, they wouldn't be able to do it. When Sun Jingyi drove into the community, the security guard let her go without much questioning. She was driving a red Audi A4L. Lin Yi inserted the spare memory card into the DV, but found that he had overestimated Zhong Tongtian's IQ. This memory card was blank, and there was no information in it. It should have been given to him by the seller when he bought the DV. Zhong Tongtian didn't care about it and put it in his bag. However, now that he had a blank memory card, Lin Yi's wicked idea popped up again. Lin Yi took the DV to the door of Zhong Tongtian's room and filmed the room for a while. Lin Yi didn't dare to compliment Zhong Tongtian's figure, but his lover wasn't bad. It was just that Lin Yi wasn't interested in such a woman. After recording a video of Zhong Tongtian, Lin Yi put the DV into Zhong Tongtian's handbag and disappeared from the window on the second floor. Done? So fast. Sun Jingyi didn't expect Lin Yi to come out so quickly. She was a little surprised. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. This wasn't challenging at all, it was already slow enough. If it weren't for the fact that he had nothing better to do, he would have come out a long time ago after filming Zhong Tongtian with his DV. Chapter 250. Plot. Sun Jingyi was speechless. You still have time to play with his camcorder? Aren't you afraid of being found out? Are you sure it's this memory card? Sun Jingyi asked worriedly. I'm sure. Lin Yi said lazily. It was recorded in a coffee shop, I've already checked it. Sun Jingyi relaxed after hearing Lin Yi's words. Thank you, little hubby. Big sis will give you a kiss as a reward. With that, Sun Jingyi made a pouting expression and feigned a kiss in the air. Smack! Sun Jingyi was taken aback. She'd clearly feigned a kiss in the air, so how did she end up kissing something? She didn't know when Lin Yi had moved his face closer. You! Sun Jingyi cursed at Lin Yi's shamelessness inwardly. She'd only feigned a kiss, and he'd taken the initiative to move closer. What about me? Lin Yi touched the spot on his face where Sun Jingyi had kissed him, a wicked smile on his face. Don't think that I'm harmless in the future. I'll respond appropriately if you try to flirt with me again. Lin Yi was getting a little pissed off by Sun Jingyi. You can't keep bringing up that half-lover thing again and again, can you? If you're so willing to talk about it, then fine, I'll fulfill your wish. It's half-lover, after all. There's no special boundary for that half. Even if we don't sleep together, a kiss should be fine, right? You. Sun Jingyi didn't know what to say. It was true that she'd only teased Lin Yi because he didn't look that old, and didn't think he was a match for her. If it were any other dangerous man, Sun Jingyi wouldn't have played these childish tricks. She'd only get herself into trouble. According to Jingyi's estimations, Lin Yi was a little boy who hadn't experienced the world of worldly affairs. He was a little strong, but he must have been under his master's closed-door training. He didn't know much about the outside world, and so Jingyi was confident that she could use her beauty to charm Lin Yi into working for her. But she hadn't expected Lin Yi to make the first move. Just when Sun Jingyi was about to say something, Lin Yi's next move caught her off guard. Lin Yi suddenly reached out and pinched Sun Jingyi's beautiful jaw. It was a frivolous and slightly insulting gesture. It was like something a bully would do to a girl in a drama. She'd never been treated in such a manner before. Sun Jingyi was a little nervous, even afraid. What do you want to do? Sun Jingyi was a little panicked. Nothing good would come out of this kind of action. Half-lover. I'll come and collect this revenge anytime. Lin Yi let go of his hand at this moment. Think carefully before you ask me to do something next time. I'll continue to collect payment. At that time, half-lover will become the whole lover. If Lin Yi didn't teach her a lesson, this girl would open a dye shop. Lin Yi didn't bother with her before, but this girl was a little too much. Lin Yi couldn't bear it anymore. He could put up with Meng Yaro and Yu Shu at home, because it was his job, but Jingyi, a complete stranger. Did this girl really think that she was that attractive? Did she really think that she was invincible? Sun Jingyi felt wronged. She'd never been humiliated like this before. Even Wu Tai's who didn't dare to say some frivolous words. Although Zhong Tongtian coveted him, he wouldn't use force. For this kind of thing, coercion and temptation were one thing, but using force was another. No matter how powerful Zhong Tongtian was, he didn't want to be imprisoned. Zhong Tongtian didn't want to be imprisoned. However, this guy, Lin Yi, actually stole her first kiss. Although it wasn't on his mouth, it was still on his face. This made Sun Jingyi feel wronged. However, even if Sun Jingyi felt wronged, she could only bear it silently. She knew very well that all of this was caused by herself. This was the logic of playing with fire. Seeing that Sun Jingyi had finally settled down, Lin Yi couldn't be bothered with her anymore. It'd be best if she didn't come looking for him in the future. He was very busy, and every time she asked him to do some low-tech things, Lin Yi always felt that it was a little unfair to his martial arts. He'd accept it if Sun Jingyi really was his wife. The problem was that she wasn't, and she was still trying to play tricks on him. Lin Yi decided to help her this time out of respect for their acquaintance, but the next time would depend on her sincerity. Naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't let Sun Jingyi send him to the villa area. Instead, he sent him to a bus stop near the villa area. Sun Jingyi gritted her teeth, looked at Lin Yi angrily, and drove away. Dad, Peng Zhan's been retracting his power these days. This isn't good for us. A young man with glasses said carefully in front of a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man was Jin Gubang, Fabai's brother-in-law. He was the biggest shareholder of Peng Zhan Industries after Peng Zhan. This young man was his son and secretary, Jin Marosheng. I know, Zhong Yuchu got me a bunch of trash. Otherwise, the company would have lost at least 200 million. Peng Zhan was the one who signed the contract, and no matter what, his reputation in the board of directors is at rock bottom, Jin Gubang said, a little hatefully. They don't even know how to kidnap a girl. I don't know if these people eat shit or not. They can't even handle a small bodyguard. Yeah, but that Lin Yi bastard's really despicable, too. I'd bribed the electrician from the company to create an accident for Peng Zhan in the parking lot so he'd end up in the hospital for a while, but that Lin Yi ruined it all. Marosheng said hatefully. You're still talking about it. Who told you to act so recklessly? If something happens to Peng Zhan in the company, the police's first suspect would be an insider. Gubang glared at his son. Do you have a brain? How could you do something so reckless? Dad, that electrician's gone forever. Marosheng explained carefully. I'm not saying you're wrong, but don't do it in the company next time. Gubang hemphed coldly. By the way, did that cousin of yours get Meng Yaro or not? I don't think so. Marosheng said. Dad, I don't think Uncle has any good intentions. If Pinliang really is with Meng Yaro, we'll be able to control Peng Zhan Industries in a roundabout way, but wouldn't Uncle's family be taking advantage of that too? He's an outsider, after all. There's no guarantee he won't betray us in the future. Chapter 251. Something happens to her. Looks like we need to hurry up. Give Zhong Yuzhou a call and tell him to do whatever it takes to cause some trouble. It'd be best if something happens to that Meng Yaro girl, so that Peng Zhan won't be able to focus on the company. Give me some time, and I'm confident that I'll be able to take control of the company and get the other shareholders to support me, Gubang said after some thought. He'd made up his mind this time. Peng Zhan was starting to get suspicious, and was starting to put his guard up against him. The company's power was shrinking as well, and it wouldn't be good for Gubang if this continued. All right, Dad. I'll contact Zhong Yuzhou right away and have him do something. Mao Sheng nodded. Be careful of that Lin Yi. That kid's ruined our plans twice already, Gubang reminded. We need to think of a way to get the best of both worlds this time. Mao Sheng was thinking of a way to make Meng Yaro get into an accident. He was even more vicious than his father, and he liked using accidents to solve problems. Just like that time when the chandelier fell from the parking lot of Peng Zhan Industries, he'd wanted to use accidents to get rid of Peng Zhan. The electrician who'd done the job had been electrocuted after that. Mao Sheng was a ruthless man, and as for kidnapping Meng Yaro, he hadn't approved of it in the first place. As far as he was concerned, killing Meng Yaro would throw Peng Zhan into chaos, and he wouldn't be able to focus on managing the company at all. House Jin would be able to take over the chairman's position in one fell swoop. He walked out of his father's room and called Zhong Yuzhou's number. This Zhong Yuzhou was Zihua's underling, and Mao Sheng wanted to talk to Zihua directly, but he knew that he didn't have the right to do so. House Jin wasn't enough to enter the eyes of the person behind Zihua. Everything he was doing now was just to pave the way for Master Bing's company to expand in Songshan after House Jin took control of Peng Zhan Industries. Otherwise, that person wouldn't even care about their own power struggles. The price House Jin had to pay for taking control of the company was to give their real estate business to Master Bing, the bastard son of that person. Peng Zhan Industries was involved in trade, real estate, department stores, hotels, entertainment, and clothing manufacturing. Although it would be a loss to cede the real estate business, it was nothing compared to becoming the real boss of Peng Zhan Industries. He was the son of a shareholder of Peng Zhan Industries, and yet he was nothing in that person's eyes. Mao Sheng felt a wave of sadness wash over him. Was that house really that strong? Young Master Jin, what's the matter? Yu Chu was quite pissed at the Jin father-son duo. Their last mission had failed entirely because Gubang hadn't investigated the people around Meng Yaro, resulting in such a huge loss. And now they were saying that their men weren't good enough. This pissed Yu Chu off. He was Zihua Bro's man, after all, and he wasn't someone Gubang could scold as he pleased. Mao Sheng was getting a little pissed off at Yu Chu's voice. It wasn't like they weren't paying a price for it. They'd even given away the company's real estate business. That was a branch company worth 300 to 400 million. If he wanted to set up a new branch company, the price he had to pay was not small. How could the price of transferring the entire branch company be small? Mr. Zhong, I hope that you can understand that we are in a cooperative relationship, not a subordinate relationship. If this is done well, Master Bing will get what he wants, and so will I. Mao Sheng wasn't a pushover, after all. He was a lot tougher than his father, and he'd been the one who'd instigated this whole usurpation. But if it fails, I won't lose anything, but we'll keep it the way it is now. House Jin is still a shareholder of Peng Zhan Industries, but will Master Bing let you go? Yu Chu's heart skipped a beat. Why hadn't he thought of this before? He'd been a little annoyed at House Jin for blaming him for everything, but now that he thought about it, he was doing something for Master Bing. Would Master Bing mistreat him if he did well? But on the other hand, would Master Bing let him go if he didn't? Yu Chu broke out in a cold sweat at the thought. Jin bro, look at what you're saying. We're brothers. We're doing this for the common good. Don't worry, I'll do my best. Mao Sheng smiled coldly inwardly. You're just dragging this out if I don't scare you. You're not even doing your best, he said with a smile. Yu Chu bro, what are you talking about? That old fox Peng Zhan's starting to get suspicious after what happened last time, and has been shrinking the company's power. My father's in a very passive position. Then, what should we do now? Yu Chu thought. I can't interfere with your company's business, so why are you telling me this? If something happens to Peng Zhan's daughter, he probably won't be in the mood to manage the company anymore, will he? Mao Sheng said faintly. Man, the sky's the limit. Isn't that right, Yu Chu bro? Yu Chu paused, Knowing that Marushing was going to play hard, he was a desperado, after all. How many of Tsihua Bro's underlings weren't? Don't worry, Jin Bro. I know what to do, it won't be long before the bad news gets out. Yuchu said straightforwardly. Killing someone by accident was actually a lot easier than kidnapping. That's it then. I'll wait for the news. Marushing said as he hung up. Yuchu wouldn't know what was going on if he didn't give him a heads up. Of course, Yuchu wasn't going to act rashly after agreeing to Maoshing's request. He had to ask Tsihua first. Tsihua Bro, it's Lil Yuchu, Yuchu said as he dialed up Tsihua's number. Lil Yuchu, why are you calling at this hour? Don't you know I'm sleeping? Tsihua slept during the day and worked at night. This was something all his lackeys knew. He only turned his phone on during the day because he didn't want his boss to come looking for him. Tsihua Bro, Jin Maoshing's calling, he wants me to kill that Mengyaro girl. Yuchu said, relaying Maoshing's message to Tsihua. Oh, I'll leave that to you. Don't get into a head-on confrontation, there's a master around that girl. Just cause an accident. Tsihua said offhandedly. After all, a human life was nothing to him. Also, Master Bing's almost here, we need to hurry up. Pengzhan Industries real estate company is our gift to Master Bing. Yes, Tsihua Bro. I'll do it then. With Tsihua's confirmation, Yuchu didn't have to worry about anything anymore. As far as Yuchu was concerned, that Lin Yi by Meng Yao's side didn't matter how strong he was. As long as they didn't get into a head-on confrontation, Meng Yao could be killed with some dirty tricks. Maybe we won't push Shield Bro down the valley, we'll just go bungee jumping? Yushu looked at Meng Yao. Ah. Lin Yi shook his head. Yushu was a top-class clown, after all. With her around, the war in this house would never happen. However, Lin Yi didn't expect Meng Yao to be so angry that she wanted to push him down the valley. Meng Yao was a little embarrassed by Yushu's words. She coughed. Lin Yi, don't listen to Shu, I didn't mean to push you. Oh, it's fine if you push me a little. Lin Yi thought to himself. The Mrs. Pushing wasn't bad either, Chem? What did you say? Meng Yao didn't hear it clearly. Nothing. Lin Yi didn't dare repeat himself. Yao, Shield Bro said that he wants you to push him down. Yushu heard it clearly, but her words were always powerful. What? Meng Yao blinked, blushing as she understood what Yushu meant by push him down. It wasn't like she didn't interact with the outside world, and even a young girl would know what that word meant. What did you say, Lin Yi? I only said it's fine if I push him a little. Lin Yi sweated that was what he meant, but he didn't say it like that. With my skills, I won't die even if I push him down. Meng Yao frowned as she thought about what Lin Yi said. He did say something like it's fine, not push him down. She turned to Yushu. Shu. Oh. Yushu got up from the sofa, wanting to run away, but her legs were numb from standing cross-legged the whole time. She lost her balance and fell off the sofa. Shu. Lin Yi. Meng Yao was startled. She couldn't care less about scolding Yushu anymore. She wanted to pull her up, but she was too slow. Yushu fell to the ground. Meng Yao subconsciously wanted Lin Yi to save her. Oh. Lin Yi reached out and caught Yushu. Shu, don't say that word. There's a man here. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. If I don't let him go, am I supposed to let him keep touching you? But, Yushu said. She couldn't just throw her to the ground. But what? You got touched by that Lin Yi bastard. Why aren't you going after him? Why are you talking about me? Meng Yao looked at Yushu. Chapter 253. Could it be that the fake had become real? Oh, Yao, you're saying that you want him to take responsibility for me? Yushu blinked, confused. Meng Yao didn't know what to say. Aren't you going to get your brother to beat him up? Oh, Shield Bro already touched me once when he pulled me out from the railing. Yushu said after some thought. Yao, maybe we should put this on the back burner for now. We won't bother him if he's obedient in the future. Yeah, that's a good idea. Meng Yao, naturally, agreed. It was Shu who was touched, Not her. If Shu didn't mind, what did she have to mind? I saved you twice. Lin Yi wasn't too happy about it. He'd saved you Shu twice already, and this girl still wanted to bother him? Oh, forget it then. We'll call it even then. But Shield bro, why don't you come bungee jumping with us this weekend? I haven't done it before. You can come with us. Yushu didn't mind at all. She had a handle on Lin Yi, so it didn't really matter anymore. No problem. Lin Yi wanted to reject her at first, but he'd touched Yushu anymore. He'd flirted with the Miss Best Friend right in front of her. He'd be lucky if Meng Yarrow didn't come after him. Bungee jumping was nothing to him. Meng Yarrow didn't know what Yushu was thinking. She waited until Lin Yi went to eat before whispering to her. Shu, do you really like Lin Yi now? Ah, no. Yushu mumbled as she chewed on her orange. No. You let him touch you. Meng Yarrow frowned as she sighed inwardly. Her best friend was most likely under Lin Yi's spell, otherwise why wouldn't she react to his touch? He didn't do it on purpose. Yushu found it strange as well. She didn't seem to dislike Shield Bro at all. She didn't want to beat him up to vent her anger after being touched. Instead, she was more interested in studying bungee jumping, as if being touched wasn't that important. Meng Yarrow didn't know what to say. This bestie of hers. Could it be that she'd fallen for Lin Yi after confessing to Lin Yi once? Did the two of them turn their act into reality? Just like before, Zhong Tongtian crossed his legs and dialed Sun Jingyi's number as if victory was already in his grasp. Hello. Is it Miss Sun? From Zhong Tongtian's point of view, Sun Jingyi was the meat in his mouth. Unless Sun Jingyi didn't want to continue doing business in Songshan, her reputation would definitely be ruined this time. With Zhong Tongtian's connections in Songshan, he was familiar with many reporters. As long as this video was leaked, Sun Jingyi's company would be done for. Not only would they face punishment from the relevant departments, but most importantly, no one would do business with their company in the future. Who would want to do business with an unsafe company like this? Purchasing managers in those companies were all lucrative jobs. Everyone knew what was going on. Well, I hope Miss Sun won't regret it. Zhong Tongtian snorted coldly and hung up the phone. He thought to himself, bitch, don't be so shameless. I'll make you cry later. At 9 o'clock, Sun Jingyi appeared in Zhong Tongtian's conference room late. Zhong Tongtian's face was very bad, and there was a trace of ruthlessness in his eyes. This woman could really keep her cool, but he didn't know if she would still be so calm after watching the video. Zhong Tongtian had made up his mind. Since Sun Jingyi didn't know how to appreciate his kindness, he could only let her taste the price of rejecting him. Miss Sun, you're very late. Zhong Tongtian nodded to Sun Jingyi indifferently. Mr. Zhong, what does it matter if I come early or late for your company's press conference? Sun Jingyi said lightly. Well, Miss Sun, please take a seat. Zhong Tongtian sneered and sat on the rostrum of the conference room. Chapter 254. Who will be ruined? Chapter 254. Who will be ruined? But since Sun Jingyi hadn't gone back on her words, Zhong Tongtian didn't mind ruining her reputation. Zhong Tongtian cleared his throat and said, Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my small press conference. Everyone here is either a journalist friend or a friend of the same profession. Let's skip the pleasantries and get straight to the point. Director Zhong, we're all ready. A reporter who knew the news pointed the camera at the big screen in the conference room. All right, I'll say it then. Zhong Tongtian nodded. Today, I'm going to expose a scum in the industry. This person has ruined the morals of our industry and is leading the way in the wrong direction. What do you think we should do with someone like this? Get rid of the black sheep. How can someone like this be a trader? One of the industry insiders stood up and said. Yes, Director Zhong, hurry up and expose it. We're all waiting. We want to see who this person is. How can someone who's worse than pigs and dogs be a trader? Another person stood up and raised his arms. Actually, there were only a few people who spoke. They'd all gotten a hint from Zhong Tongtian. Most of them were just here to watch the show and wouldn't get involved. All right, Secretary Li, go and play this video. Zhong Tongtian handed the video recorder to his secretary. This was the first time he'd given the camera to his secretary. Before this, he wouldn't let anyone touch it. Firstly, Zhong Tongtian was afraid that the video would be leaked out too early. If that happened, it would lose its effect as a threat to Sun Jingyi. If it was leaked out, Sun Jingyi wouldn't agree to his requests. Secondly, he didn't trust the people around him. He was afraid that Sun Jingyi would bribe the people around her to delete the video. If that happened, he'd have hired a private detective to record the video for nothing. That was why Zhong Tongtian took out the camera now. Everyone, please watch the video. Zhong Tongtian waited for Secretary Li to connect the camera to the big TV in the conference room, then gestured for everyone to watch. Suddenly, the sound of a man and a woman moaning came from the TV. Many TVs played the sound first before the image, and the image was always a second later than the sound. Therefore, everyone was very curious. What kind of video was this? Zhong Tongtian was also very puzzled. When he watched this video, there didn't seem to be such a sound. While everyone was wondering, two naked figures appeared on the TV screen. The man was fat, and the woman was voluptuous. However, why did the man look so familiar? Everyone's eyes fell on Zhong Tongtian, because the male lead of the video was Zhong Tongtian himself. Sun Jingyi secretly spat and lowered her head. She was a little afraid to look at the picture on the TV, but she was very happy in her heart. The date of the video on the TV was last night, just when Linyi went to steal the memory card. Linyi said that he played with the camera for a while, so this must have been recorded by Linyi. Although she was a little annoyed with Linyi's sudden overbearingness yesterday, Sun Jingyi was undoubtedly very refreshed today. He fiercely vented the resentment in his chest. Zhong Tongtian had lost a lot of face today. He was stunned for a while like everyone else, and then his face turned red. Secretary Li? What is this? What a mess. What did you put there? Mr. Zhong, this is the camera you gave me. I connected it directly to the TV. Secretary Li looked innocent. Hee hee. Ha ha. There was a burst of snickering in the conference room. Those reporters who had a relationship with Zhong Tongtian were confused, but those who had no relationship with him were excited. This was a big tidbit of news. Turn it off. Turn it off. Zhong Tongtian shouted at Secretary Li angrily. Although Secretary Li felt wronged, he had to quickly turn off the camera and TV. What's going on? What's going on? How did it become like this? Zhong Tongtian's face was gloomy and unhappy. Mr. Zhong, is this your so-called black sheep? Sun Jingyi sneered and stood up. You asked us to come here just to watch you perform? With all due respect, I'm sorry, but I have no interest in your indecent video. Goodbye. After that, Sun Jingyi turned around and walked out of the conference room. There was no need to stay here any longer. As for the other people in the same industry, they were too embarrassed to stay any longer. They didn't know what Zhong Tongtian was up to. He had invited everyone here to watch an indecent video of this fat pig. He really had nothing better to do. Was this guy an exhibitionist? Was it to show off his manly charm? Zhong Tongtian looked at the press conference with a gloomy face. He was very unhappy, but there was nothing he could do. He vaguely felt that something was wrong, but he didn't know what was wrong. He didn't understand why the video of Sun Jingyi's staff bribing became an indecent video of himself and his lover. It must be Sun Jingyi. It must be this woman. Although he didn't know what methods Sun Jingyi used, his intuition told him that Sun Jingyi definitely had something to do with this. Otherwise, why would Sun Jingyi be so calm? And why did she look like she didn't care? Sun Jingyi, I, Zhong Tongtian, will never let you go. Zhong Tongtian clenched his fists tightly. Songshan's first high, grade 12 class 5. Linyi yawned lazily. In fact, Linyi didn't sleep well last night. It was the first time he touched a girl's chest, and it was always unforgettable. He thought that the unforgettable girl would be Tang Yun, but he didn't think that it would be Yu Shu. Although it was an emergency and he accidentally touched it, it still made Linyi's heart throb. To be honest, if Yu Shu wasn't Meng Yao's best friend, Linyi might have made a move on her. But the problem was it that easy to make a move on the Mrs. Best Friend? Boss, what's wrong? Why do you look so tired? Kang Xiaobo wanted to talk to Linyi about Xiaofan, but seeing Lin Yi's listless face, he didn't know if he should say it or not. Xiaobo, if you have something to say, just say it. I'm fine. Lin Yi shook his head. In fact, if Lin Yi wanted to get rid of his fatigue, he only needed to circulate the art of dragon mastery in his body. It was just that Lin Yi wasn't just tired, he wasn't in the mood. Chapter 255. Request for backup boss. I think that bastard Kang Jiaoming is still in Fen's heart. Xiaobo's fists were clenched tightly as he spoke, his face filled with anger. Achem? What do you mean? Lin Yi was startled. Kang Mingming was already so heartless, and yet Xiaofen was still so loyal to him. Are you kidding me? Sigh, boss, you don't know, but Xiaofen's expression changed when I mentioned Kang Mingming to her. Kang Xiaobo sighed. I think she wants to forget Kang Mingming, but she can't. He's her first man after all, so it's normal for her to remember him. But why doesn't Xiaofen know about Kang Mingming's disgusting face? She knows. Lin Yi said. But as you said, she can't forget that man easily. I think if you let her see Kang Mingming again, she'll be able to let it go. It's best to let her see how heartless Kang Mingming is right now. Boss, won't this agitate Xiaofen? Has her illness just recovered? Kang Xiaobo was worried. Maybe, maybe not. But she'll be fine with me by her side. Lin Yi said. If she doesn't face this matter, she'll never be able to walk out of it. You're right. Kang Xiaobo nodded. Boss, I don't have to worry about Xiaofen acting up with you by my side. But where can I meet Kang Mingming? My second grandpa's family has moved to the provincial capital. There'll be a chance, right? Lin Yi said faintly. Xiaobo, you should be more confident now. Don't always treat yourself as a substitute for Kang Mingming. Maybe Xiaofen will slowly accept you this way. If you keep thinking about how you look like your cousin and use it as a method to chase after Xiaofen, then it'll be a little sad. Boss, don't worry. I won't embarrass you. I will definitely deal with Xiao Fen. Kang Mingming vowed. You've already decided? You want to be with Xiao Fen? Lin Yi asked. It's decided. Boss, I've made up my mind. Xiaobo nodded solemnly. I stayed with Fen at the hospital last night. Ah, it can't be. Lin Yi's eyes went wide. He didn't expect his follower to be even fiercer than he was. All he did was hold Tang Yun's hand and pinch Yushu's boobs, but Kang Xiaobo was already sleeping with them. Sweat, boss, you misunderstood. I'm just accompanying you. Kang Xiaobo was sweating profusely. Nothing happened between us. Lin Yi was speechless. And then? I talked to Xiao Fen a lot, and I know what she's thinking. Kang Xiaobo said. Boss, you're right. Xiao Fen just won't give up. She knows that it's impossible, but Kang Mingming didn't say it to her personally. She still won't give up. Speaking of which, this incident might cause your relationship with your cousin to break up. Are you sure it's okay? Lin Yi asked. Kang Mingming did such an inhumane thing, and I still recognize him as my brother. Kang Xiaobo laughed coldly. If it wasn't for second grandpa, I'd go and beat him up right now. You can beat him up, but not now. You don't have that strength yet. Lin Yi attacked Kang Xiaobo. I know. Kang Xiaobo sighed. He's the second young master of House Kang. What am I? A poor relative of Dr. Kang? Zhong Naipao didn't come to school today. Other than Pinliang, no one knew where he went. Even Pinliang's subordinate, Gao Xiaofu, didn't know. He only told the school that he was on sick leave, and told his family that he was going to do something big for Pinliang. After that, he was escorted to Springstar Mountain by Fabai's men. Pinliang glared at Lin Yi. You don't need to show off in front of me. When Zhong Naipao comes back from his studies, I'll see how you die. At that thought, Pinliang felt a little better. Lin Yi was going to die sooner or later anyway. He'd let him have his fun for a couple of days. He'd let him be happy for a couple of days before he died. And so, Pinliang looked at Lin Yi with pity. As far as he was concerned, Lin Yi was a dead man. Meng Yao, are you free on Saturday? My dad gave me 3 3D movie tickets. Let's go watch it together. Pin Liang had been urged by his father this morning to hook up with Meng Yaro as soon as possible, otherwise his uncle Gubang might come up with some plan that he didn't need to cooperate with anymore. House Zhong wouldn't get anything out of it then. And so, Pin Liang started to get close to Meng Yaro. I told you not to call me Meng Yaro. Do you have ears? Meng Yaro was disgusted by Pin Liang calling her so intimately. Pin Liang didn't seem to care at all. He moved his stool over and sat beside Meng Yaro. Heh, then I'll call you Yaro Yaro. Why don't you go die? Meng Yaro frowned. Do you have something to do? Yeah, let's go watch a movie together on Saturday. It's the 3D version of Fallen Angel. It's an international blockbuster, Pin Liang said as he pulled out 3 movie tickets. I'm not free. I have something else on Saturday. Meng Yaro rejected immediately. She'd promised Shu to go bungee jumping, so naturally she wouldn't go watch a movie. Even if she didn't go bungee jumping, she wouldn't go watch a movie with Pin Liang. The guy was even more annoying than Lin Yi. Tchem. Meng Yaro paused at the thought. Didn't she think that Lin Yi was more annoying than Pin Liang? Did she change the order already? Meng Yaro shook her head. She didn't know what was going on. Then we can go on Sunday, Pin Liang said, not getting tired of it. Meng Yaro couldn't take it anymore. She nudged Yushu, signaling her to go to Lin Yi. Yushu smiled and sent a message to Lin Yi. Yaro sis is in trouble. I need help. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he saw Yushu's message, but he stood up anyway. He'd promised Meng Yaro yesterday that he'd help her if Pin Liang bothered her. Boss, where are you going? Kang Xiaobo was confused when he saw Lin Yi standing up. I'm going to the washroom. You coming? Lin Yi asked. Yeah, wait for me. Kang Xiaobo stood up with Lin Yi, but he couldn't help but smile when he saw Pin Liang blocking the way. Pin Liang was in trouble again. Chapter 256. Should you change your seat? Do you have a bad memory? I told you not to gamble. Are you deaf? Lin Yi said coldly from behind Pin Liang. Truth be told, if it weren't for Lin Yi's desire to live a peaceful life in Songshan, Pin Liang would have become a pile of ashes a long time ago. You. Pin Liang was about to turn around when he heard the voice when he felt his body lighten. He was sent flying with a whoosh, landing on the podium with a loud thud. He let out a cry of pain. You change your seat, it's not suitable for you to sit here. I'll send you flying out of the classroom window next time. Lin Yi warned faintly as he kicked Pin Liang's chair away. This kid should know his place and stay away from Meng Yaro. He didn't need to be called over by Yushu to help him out every time. Pin Liang glared at Lin Yi, but didn't dare say anything. He knew that whatever he said now would only put him at a disadvantage, and Lin Yi would keep beating him up. He wasn't a match for Lin Yi right now, and the only thing he could do was endure. Pin Liang didn't say anything, and Lin Yi walked past him with a warning. Remember what I said. If you keep sitting in front of me, I'll make sure you're a trapeze artist every day. Pin Liang clenched his teeth. When had he ever been threatened like this before? But this Lin Yi was someone he couldn't beat, and even Heibao Bro, who he was so proud of, wasn't a match for him. How could he piss off someone like this? Pin Liang didn't want to change his seat, but Lin Yi had said it. Pin Liang believed that Lin Yi would definitely throw him out if he didn't change his seat. Lin Yi was a madman, arrogant to the point that he didn't care about anything. News of Zhu Ruoming getting slapped in the face by Lin Yi in front of the dean had spread like wildfire. Pin Liang knew that he wasn't a match for a madman like that. It seemed like he'd have to get away from Meng Yaro. He'd have to move to a corner if he wanted to get out of that bastard's line of sight. He'd just have to get rid of Lin Yi and switch back. Other than Lin Yi, there was no one else in this class who dared to go against her wishes. Changing seats was just a matter of saying the word. Boss, I'm starting to doubt your background now. Did you really come from the mountains? Kang Xiaobo asked, looking at Lin Yi curiously. One of my elders, a board member of the school board. Lin Yi said, giving a simple explanation of his background. Oh, no wonder. No wonder even the Dean of Academic Affairs couldn't do anything to you. So that's why. Kang Xiaobo said, understanding dawning on him. That luxurious car that sent you to school that morning belonged to that board member? Yeah. Lin Yi nodded. Amazing. Kang Xiaobo said excitedly. I didn't know you had such a powerful background. I thought you were just a poor student like me. Ha! Lin Yi smiled, not bothering to explain. In fact, a powerful background didn't have much of an effect. Wasn't Pinliang's background powerful? Why didn't he dare act arrogant in front of the dean? At the end of the day, wasn't it because he had Wang Jifeng's weakness? Wang Jifeng couldn't do anything to him. Right, boss, don't you need to go to the washroom? Kang Xiaobo asked curiously, seeing that Lin Yi didn't go to the washroom. I just don't like Pinliang and I wanted to teach him a lesson. Lin Yi didn't hide it. He didn't need to go to the washroom at all. Kang Xiaobo would see through him if he went to the washroom, so he just told him the truth. So that's how it is. Ha, Zhong Pingliang, that arrogant bastard, it's his bad luck to meet the boss. Xiaobo let out a long breath of vengeance, as if he was the one who'd taught Pinliang a lesson. Didn't you want to go to the washroom? Lin Yi asked. I saw you coming out, so I wanted to follow you. Fen's matter is bothering me. Kang Xiaobo said. Let's go then. Lin Yi nodded and walked with Kang Xiaobo in the hallway. There weren't many people in the hallway of the 12th grade. Other than the students on duty, everyone else was studying in the classroom. Those whose families had connections or couldn't get into college were playing basketball on the field or playing games outside of school. They wouldn't wander around in the hallway. They walked to the door of Class 5 and saw Tang Yun coming out with a bucket of water. She was probably going to the washroom to change the water. Kang Xiaobo quickly ran over. Sis, let me do it, OR. Tang Yun jumped at Kang Xiaobo and almost dropped the bucket. What? What did you call me? Sis. Kang Xiaobo said matter-of-factly. Yesterday, boss declared his sovereignty over you in front of so many people. Sis, you didn't deny it either. Don't call me that. Tang Yun blushed and handed the bucket to Kang Xiaobo. Go get some water. Oh, heh, okay. Xiaobo said as he took the bucket and ran to the washroom. Don't mind him. He's just like that. Lin Yi put his hands on the wall and surrounded Tang Yun. I know. Tang Yun was a little shy. Don't be like this, we're in school. Lin Yi's action was unintentional. He realized how intimate his action was after hearing Tang Yun's words. It was as if he was going to kiss Tang Yun. He quickly retracted his hand awkwardly. What if we're not in school? I'm ignoring you. Tang Yun, naturally, didn't want to talk about this topic with Lin Yi. Lin Yi's situation had been messing with her mind for the past 2 days. Especially last night she hadn't been able to sleep at all. The image of Lin Yi holding her hand and slapping Zhu Ruoming's face kept flashing in her mind. Did this mean that she liked him? Tang Yun didn't know, but she couldn't stop herself from thinking about it. Ha! Lin Yi smiled and stopped teasing her. Tang Yun was different from Sun Jingyi in Lin Yi's heart. Sun Jingyi was a cunning fox. Lin Yi wouldn't spoil her. However, he only cared about Tang Yun. Look at Xiaobo. Something happened. Tang Yun was panicking. She looked around, afraid that people would see her and Lin Yi together. Kang Xiaobo was in trouble. Chapter 257. Is a confession considered a boyfriend? Kang Xiaobo naturally wasn't the fatty's opponent and stumbled from the impact. But that wasn't all. Coincidentally, the dirty water in the bucket spilled all over the fatty's pants, as if he just peed his pants. Do you have eyes? The fatty was enraged. He'd gone to the washroom to smoke a cigarette, only to be splashed with dirty water. It infuriated him. Do you want to die? This fatty was a little tyrant in the 3rd year of high school. Of course, the little tyrant was only a little famous in the grade. Compared to the 4 big bullies in the school, he was simply not on the same level. However, it was very normal for the little tyrant to show off in front of ordinary students. And so, the fat little tyrant treated Kang Xiaobo as a target to vent his anger on. How can you blame me for this? At most, we're both in the wrong. Why didn't you keep an eye on it? Kang Xiaobo was a little angry. He wasn't an unreasonable person. He was just about to apologize when the fatty started scolding him. Keep an eye on it. You Dafa, haven't even kept an eye on who's passing by. Which class are you from? Don't you know me? The fat little tyrant glared at Kang Xiaobo. You Dafa? Kang Xiaobo paused. He took a closer look at the person in front of him. It really was Yu Dafa, but there was a trace of disdain in his heart. He looked at the bucket in his hand. There was still some dirty water left. Kang Xiaobo picked it up and poured it on Yu Dafa's head. You don't want to live anymore, do you? Yu Dafa was furious as he pointed at Kang Xiaobo. Hurry up and scram. My boss and sister-in-law are waiting for me to fetch water. I won't care if my boss comes over if you continue to dawdle. Kang Xiaobo pushed Yu Dafa's hand to the side. Your boss and sister-in-law? Yu Dafa was stunned. He was a little confused. It's right behind me. Kang Xiaobo pointed behind him. Yu Dafa looked in the direction Kang Xiaobo was pointing and saw Lin Yi and Tang Yun standing not too far away. His legs cramped and he almost fell to the ground. Brother, you said that brother Lin Yi is your boss? Yu Dafa's tone toward Kang Xiaobo suddenly became polite. Who didn't know Lin Yi? He was one of the big 4 young thugs in the new school. He was vaguely above the other 2 young thugs and had become the leader of the new generation. How could he, Yu Dafa, afford to offend such a person? The first of the 4 big bullies had already graduated and became a legend. And the last one was a demon from the middle school department. After staying in the school for a few days, he had turned the school upside down. Although he had already transferred out, he was still listed as one of the legends of the 4 big bullies. Now, there were only 2 of the big 4 left, but they were completely trampled by Lin Yi. Lin Yi had become the leader of the new generation of Big 4, and Yu Dafa, who was a little tyrant at his age, didn't dare to offend him. He knew that he wasn't a match for Pin Liang and Zhu Ruoming, let alone Lin Yi. Of course, I'm Kang Xiaobo, the only follower of my boss. Look closely and be more observant next time. Kang Xiaobo put his hands on his waist and said to Yu Dafa. Yes. Yu Dafa nodded quickly. Go get me a bucket of water. Kang Xiaobo handed the bucket to Yu Dafa. I'll go right now. Yu Dafa felt that it was an honor to be able to do something for Lin Yi. He could brag about it in the future. Lin Yi had asked him to do something before, so Lin Yi could be considered half his boss now. Yu Dafa brought the water back to Xiaobo, who was just about to take it when Yu Dafa spoke up. Bro, I can't let you do this, I'll bring it to the boss myself. Kang Xiaobo nodded and sighed. His status had risen along with Lin Yi. If it weren't for Lin Yi, would Yu Dafa give him so much face? In the past, it would be good enough if Yu Dafa didn't beat him up, let alone bring water. Yu Dafa brought the bucket to Lin Yi and Tang Yun. Boss, sis-in-law, the water is here. You are. Lin Yi looked at Yu Dafa suspiciously. He didn't know this person. Where did he come from? Boss, I'm Yu Dafa, the leader of the 12th grade. Of course, compared to Boss Lin Yi, I'm nothing. Yu Dafa introduced himself. Oh, Lin Yi nodded. All right, I got it. You can go now. Thank you. You're welcome, boss. If you need anything, you can find me anytime. I'm in the 30th grade. Yu Dafa said respectfully. Tang Yun didn't think that the evil Yu Dafa would show his loyalty to Lin Yi. She was confused. The most embarrassing thing was that he called her sis-in-law. Tang Yun still remembered the love letter Yu Dafa wrote to her. It was so disgusting and explicit, but in the blink of an eye, it became subservient. All of this was because of Lin Yi, the boy who transferred here less than a month ago. I'm going back. I need to clean the windows. Tang Yun picked up the bucket on the ground and said to Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo. Okay, go. Lin Yi nodded and went back to the classroom with Kang Xiaobo. Pin Liang obediently moved to Gao Xiaofu's side. It was a corner of the classroom, far away from Lin Yi. He was afraid that Lin Yi would turn him into a flying man. Yaro sis, I think Shield Bro is too handsome. Yu Shu pulled Meng Yao's arm. Look at Pin Liang. He moved away after being scared by him. You don't have to worry about being harassed anymore. Yeah, he's so handsome. Let him touch your boobs. Meng Yarrow pouted. Yarrow sis, are you jealous? Why don't you let him touch you next time? Yushu said with a smile. I'm not an idiot. Meng Yarrow glared at Yushu. Is he my boyfriend? Why should I let him touch me? If you want to be touched, then go ahead. Oh, Shield Bro accepted my confession. He's my boyfriend now, right? Yushu mumbled to herself. It wasn't a loss for her to let him touch her boobs. Yes, that's it. Meng Yarrow was going crazy from Yushu. Was there something wrong with her friend's head? Was there anyone like her? It was Saturday morning, and Lin Yi was woken up by Yushu's slap. Shield Bro, wake up. We're going to the theme park today. Theme park? It was only then that Lin Yi remembered that he'd promised the Miss and Shu to go bungee jumping. He got up in a daze, washed up, and put on a fresh set of clothes. He walked out of the room to find Meng Yarrow and Yushu ready. You drive Shu's Beetle and follow us. Shu and I will sit in my car, Meng Yarrow ordered after looking at Lin Yi. Chapter 258. Suspicion of an insider. Lin Yi drove quietly behind Meng Yao's Audi S5, glancing at the rearview mirror from time to time. Following them again? Zihua's men? A cold smile formed on Lin Yi's lips. It was the same car that tailed him last time. Did they really think he wouldn't be able to detect them with this kind of tracking technology? Zihua was quite the daring one, wasn't he? 2 of his men died last time, so who was he going to send this time? As a result, Lin Yi didn't get out of the car to ask. He pretended like he didn't know anything as he followed behind Meng Yarrow. Lin Yi wouldn't mind giving them another car accident if the black SUV dared to make a move. Songshan's theme park was located in the southern district of Songshan. Built at the end of the 2000 years, it was one of the more famous theme parks in the province. Meng Yarrow parked the car in the park's underground parking lot, and Lin Yi parked at the side as well. He followed Meng Yarrow into the elevator when Lin Yi saw the black SUV following them turn into the parking lot as well. What surprised Lin Yi was that the SUV didn't have a parking card, instead showing a small plastic ID to the toll booth at the entrance. Lin Yi found it odd. Did this SUV have something to do with the theme park? Yao, where does this theme park belong to? Public or private? Lin Yi asked casually. Public and private? Why do you ask? Meng Yarrow didn't understand what Lin Yi was getting at. Public and private? Which company invested in it? Lin Yi didn't let go of the topic that easily. Shield Bro, it's Uncle Chu's business. Yushu blurted out. Oh. Lin Yi blinked. Could it be that someone from Pengzhan Industries was in the SUV? That was the only way to explain why there was no charge in the underground parking lot. The SUV wasn't a military vehicle, just a regular license plate. It wouldn't be free parking if it wasn't related to the theme park. Daddy's company invested in it, but it's always been managed by a subsidiary company. Meng Yarrow said. Then can we park here for free? Lin Yi asked. Meng Yarrow looked at Lin Yi as if he was an alien. She might be a miss, but calling Forbert just for a few kwai parking fee was too much trouble, wasn't it? Ah. Lin Yi smiled faintly. The people in the MPV behind him probably weren't lacking in money, either. Who would be short on parking fees if they were able to wrestle with Pengzhan? However, being able to park for free was also a symbol of status and privilege. The people in the car probably thought so too. Lin Yi had guessed correctly. In the SUV, Zhong Yuzhou was all smiles as he looked at Marosheng. Jin Bro, you're amazing, you don't even need to pay for parking. This amusement park was originally invested and built by the company, and I happen to be in charge of it. Marosheng said nonchalantly as he put away his ID. Since I have this privilege, of course I'll use it. You're right, Yuzhou said with a laugh. But, since this is Jin Bro's territory, it'll be even easier. I was worried about not knowing where to start, but it's no problem now. I didn't think they'd come to the amusement park. Marosheng said with a cold smile on his lips. There's a few of my confidants here, we can ask them for help later. Confidants. Won't they spill the beans? Yujo was a little worried after all. They were going to kill someone today. Spill? Mph, let's give them some guts. Maroshing said disdainfully. They're the ones helping me get money, and the amount of money they've embezzled is a death sentence. Then it's fine. Yujo nodded. They were on the same boat now, so there was no need to worry about them betraying him. Find someone smart enough to follow the three of them and report their location. We'll see what we can do to create an accident. Maroshing said to Yujo. No problem. Yujo said to an inconspicuous young man in the car. Ma, you go. Yes, Yujo bro. The young man said as he got out of the car and quickly followed. A cold light flashed through Maoshing's eyes. He was the cautious type, and he didn't know much about this Ma youngster's background. He'd seen him today. Maoshing's first thought was to get rid of this Ma as soon as this was over. He couldn't let the guy cause him any trouble at all. The person behind Tsihua had eyes and ears everywhere, but he wouldn't stand up for Master Bing if something were to happen. Master Bing was his bastard son, but his wife's family wasn't to be messed with, either. It'd be troublesome to raise an illegitimate child this big. Maroshing knew that, and so he always kept a backup plan in place. Yao, are we going bungee jumping now? Yushu was looking forward to it. The amusement park was Pengzhan's property, but the two of them had only been here once when it was first building. The bungee jumping valley hadn't been built yet. Bungee jumping as soon as we got here? Mengyaro had been holding back for the past few days, and wanted to vent her frustrations, but bungee jumping as soon as they got to the amusement park wasn't something she could handle. After all, bungee jumping was dangerous and exhausting, and Mengyaro wanted to explore the other parts of the park first. Let's explore then. Right, Yao, why don't we go to the haunted house first? I heard that there's a new haunted house here. It's really scary. Yushu suggested. Haunted house? Mengyaro frowned. Why would Yushu want to go to such a childish place? Haunted house? Who was she trying to scare? It was all fake stuff. What was there to see? Yeah, it's really scary. I heard that a lot of young couples go there, and when their girlfriends get scared, they get to take advantage of them. Yushu said with a straight face. Shu, are you an idiot? Mengyaro was speechless. Then why don't you go with Linyi and let him take advantage of you? No, I'm not scared, but I think you'll be scared, Yao, Yushu said. Me? Scared? Mengyaro was even more speechless. You think I'll be scared of kids' stuff? If that's the case, then let's go. Let's see who's scared. But Shu, I'm telling you, don't get upset when he takes advantage of you. Hihi, Yao, we don't know who gets taken advantage of yet. Yushu said with a smile. She'd secretly watched the recording of Pinliang's haunted house before, and naturally, she wasn't that scared. Chapter 259. Pretending to be a ghost. Ma, who'd been following Mengyaro and Yushu from afar, heard their conversation as well. Naturally, Linyi had noticed Ma coming, but didn't want to startle him. As far as he was concerned, Ma wasn't much of a threat at all. Might as well let him tag along and see what he was up to. Who knew, he might even be able to lure out the mastermind. He was just a small character, and Linyi killing him wouldn't affect the mastermind at all. The guy wasn't even a third of a golden class, he was just an errand boy. Yuchu bro, it sounds like they're going to the haunted house. Ma's mission was to report Mengyaro and the others' movements to Maroshing and Zhong Yuchu. Haunted house? I got it. Yuchu said. I'll discuss it with Jin bro, I'll tell you what to do. Maroshing had heard Ma's words through the walkie-talkie as well, but he hadn't figured out what kind of accident he could create in the haunted house yet. Assassinations were out of the question, and that would only draw the police in faster. That wasn't something he wanted to see. Get Ma to go to the ticket counter first, tell them to slow down the sales, don't let Mengyaro and the others go in immediately, Maoshing said after some thought. All right. Yuchu relayed Maoshing's message to Ma. Jin bro, what should we do now? What kind of accident do you think could kill people in a haunted house? Maoshing decided to discuss it with Yuchu. Inside the haunted house. Yuchu couldn't think of any good ideas. There's nothing else in the haunted house other than scaring people. It's all fake stuff. Scaring people. Marosheng cackled all of a sudden. I got it, heh. Let's go pretend to be ghosts and scare them to death. What do you think? That's a good idea. The things in there are all dead. Although it's scary, it's nothing. But if we pretend to be ghosts and shout their names, they will probably. Hee. Yuchu nodded in agreement. Isn't there a saying that goes, don't you remember? It was so scary that it scared people to death. That's what it means. Let's go. Let's go get ready. Don't scare those two girls to death. Marosheng smiled darkly. He'd only been suggesting it casually, but Yuchu's approval had moved him. That's right. Scaring people to death. This is an old saying. It shouldn't be wrong. Why does this haunted house only let 3 or 4 people in at a time? Mengyaro looked at the entrance of the haunted house impatiently. There were still 3 or 4 groups of people waiting in front of her. Who knew how long it would take for them to get there? If he had known earlier, he would have asked Forbert to come and give him a heads up, saving him from having to wait for so long. Isn't it too late for a good show? Yushu, on the other hand, didn't mind. You know what, Yaro. The 2 couples who went in just now were pale with fright. You'll be like that too, Mengyaro said, annoyed. Why don't we stop playing and go watch something else? Let's wait a little longer. It'll be our turn in another 2 or 3 groups. Yushu didn't want to give up just like that. Yaro, think about it. It's scarier when there's only a few people in the haunted house. What's the point if there's too many visitors? If there's too many people and too few ghosts, then are the ghosts scaring the people or the people scaring the ghosts? There's no point in that. That's true. Mengyaro was starting to agree with Yushu's reasoning. Indeed, if there were too many people, then there'd be no time for ghosts. In the control room at the back of the haunted house, Marosheng, Zhongyujo, and Ma had all changed into their costumes. Marosheng was a vampire, Zhongyujo was a zombie, and Ma was a faceless man with something stuck to his face. Get ready, call the people in front. They don't need to come in, just tell Mengyaro to come in directly. Yuchu said to Ma. Yes. Ma was already a faceless man, and his speech was a little sluggish. He took out his phone and dialed a number. You guys can go now. Outside the haunted house, the 2 groups of people waiting in front of Mengyao's group suddenly spoke up after receiving a call. We're not waiting anymore, it's too slow. Let's go and play something else. Yeah, it's so slow. I don't want to watch anymore. Let's go. Another person immediately echoed. And so, the 2 groups of people turned around and left without any hesitation. Hey, Yaro, is there something wrong with them? They've been waiting in line for so long, it's almost their turn, and they're leaving? Yushu looked at the 2 groups of people as if they were idiots. Who knows? But it's good that they're leaving, it'll be our turn soon. Mengyaro was a little troubled as well, but it was a good thing that they were leaving. They didn't have to wait anymore. Lin Yi, on the other hand, looked at the 2 groups of people coldly, a cold smile on his lips. Making a move already? Inside the haunted house. Next. The worker opened the door and looked at Mengyao's group. Is that you guys? Are the 3 of you together? Yes, is it our turn? Mengyaro asked. We're here. Give me the tickets and you can go in. The staff took the ticket from Mengyao's hand and threw it into the box without even looking at it, making Lin Yi look down on them. They didn't even know how to put on an act. Were they in such a hurry to get them in? Mengyaro, Yushu, and Lin Yi entered the haunted house one after another, and the door slammed shut behind them. Mengyao couldn't help but shiver. She knew it was fake, but the creepy atmosphere in the haunted house still made her shiver. Shoo, hold on to me. Don't run around. It's pretty scary in here. Mengyaro tried to maintain the demeanor of a big sister, but there was a hint of fear in her voice. She wanted Yushu to hold on to her so that Yushu wouldn't be afraid, but anyone could tell that Meng Yarrow was just putting on a brave front. Hee, Yarrow Yao, are you scared? Yushu wasn't a coward. She wasn't scared even after hearing the screams. Who said I'm scared? Meng Yarrow wouldn't admit that she was scared. These things are fake, they're just scaring people. What's there to be scared of? Let's go. Lin Yi, follow behind us, don't go too far. Chapter 260. Yushu Ghost Catcher, Part 1. Back in the Primeval Forest, every step taken was filled with poisonous beasts and venomous bugs. That was the real deal, but these things were nothing in Lin Yi's eyes. How could someone who'd lived in that kind of environment be afraid of ghosts? Ooh! An old lady with blood dripping from her eyes floated past Meng Yao's eyes. Meng Yarrow was startled, grabbing onto Yushu's hand tightly. She regretted coming here if she'd known how scary this thing was. Heh, Yarrow Yao, it's a lie. Yushu's hand went through the old lady's body. See, it's fake, right? It's just a 3D slideshow. Oh. Meng Yarrow calmed down after seeing Yushu's demonstration. And this was only the beginning. The deeper they went, the scarier it got. Other than the ghosts that would appear out of nowhere, there were also some zombies jumping out of the coffins, making Meng Yao's heart skip a beat. Whoosh! A zombie with pus all over its body sat up abruptly, shooting a jet of black blood at Meng Yarrow. Meng Yarrow screamed as she backed away subconsciously, bumping into Lin Yi. What are you doing behind me? Didn't you tell me to follow you? Lin Yi shrugged. It's fake, it's just a mist of light. Oh. Meng Yarrow was a little embarrassed. It was true that she'd told Lin Yi to stand behind her because she was afraid that something might ambush them from behind, but after Lin Yi's explanation, Meng Yarrow realized that the blood sword was just an illusion. It wasn't real at all. After a couple of scares, Meng Yao's courage started to grow. What was there to be afraid of? She could see it, but she couldn't touch it. What was there to be afraid of? Meng Yarrow watched as Yushu waved her hands around to catch the monsters, and she let loose as well. She started punching and kicking like Yushu, having fun. Pack! Meng Yarrow felt someone slap her arrowhead, thinking that it was Lin Yi. Lin Yi, what are you doing? Don't mess around, I'm having fun. Pack! That hand slapped Meng Yarrow again, pissing her off. She turned her head to the side. Lin Yi, you. Meng Yarrow shrieked as she saw a faceless man patting her shoulder. Of course, the faceless man wasn't scary. What was scary was that the faceless man's hand wasn't an illusion, but a real slap on his body. Yarrow sis, what's wrong? Yushu was in the middle of fighting the ghost when she heard Meng Yao's scream. She turned around to see a faceless person patting Meng Yao's shoulder. Hey! Yushu was a little puzzled. Weren't the things in here illusions? Why wasn't the faceless man one? Yushu quickly walked over to Meng Yao's side and reached out to touch the faceless man's face. Hey! I can touch it. Did you get an actual item? I'm a faceless man, I'm going to eat you all. Ma growled in a low voice, frustrated that Yushu was grabbing him. Yushu bro was only asking him to play along, so he didn't dare act rashly. Lin Yi, on the other hand, looked at Ma interested. Lin Yi could tell from the faceless man's shoes that it was Ma, the one who'd been tailing them all this time. He had a rough idea of what they were up to. These people were really ruthless, trying to scare Meng Yarrow to death by pretending to be ghosts. What were they thinking? Didn't they know that Meng Yarrow had a clown by her side? Even if Meng Yarrow was a coward, there was no way she'd be scared to death by Yushu. But, even if this Ma was weak, and Lin Yi could tell that he was just pretending to be a ghost, Lin Yi still kept his guard up. If this Ma did anything to harm Meng Yarrow, Lin Yi would be the first to act. Lin Yi didn't think that they'd do something like that in the haunted house. If they did, they wouldn't have to wait until they were in the haunted house, they could do it anywhere else. Yarrow sis, look at this faceless man, he's pretty good at it. Look at how thick his face is, he can even pull. Yushu said as she pulled on the faceless man's face with all her might, stretching it out a few centimeters. Ouch! Ma almost teared up from the pain. Why wasn't this girl afraid of him? How dare she pinch a ghost's face? How dare she? Is that so? Meng Yarrow wasn't scared anymore. She reached out and pulled on the other half of the faceless man's face, and both sides of Ma's face were pulled up at the same time. His mouth was pulled into the shape of a ladle, and he couldn't scream even if he wanted to. Woo! I'm a faceless man. I'm going to eat you all. Ma was on the verge of crying. Can't you say something else to scare people? Yushu was a little speechless. Yarrow sis, get out of the way, I'll kill him. Oh, okay. Meng Yarrow dodged to the side, but Yushu raised her leg and kicked the faceless man's crotch. Ma's eyes rolled back, and he fainted from the pain. Hey! Yushu waved her hands in the air excitedly. Yarrow, I'm so good. I killed a faceless man. Shoo, can't you kick this model until it's broken? Why isn't he moving? Meng Yarrow, naturally, didn't think that the faceless man was a person. She thought that it was a model that Yushu's kick had stopped working. Ooh, it's fine, it's your daddy's theme park, someone'll fix it even if it's broken, Yushu said after some thought. That's true. Meng Yarrow didn't really mind. She didn't care about something as small as this, after all. As far as she was concerned, she could just throw it away. Not far away, Maosheng's face twitched a couple of times, and Yuchu was sweating as well. Wasn't this girl a little too much? Not only did she pinch Ma's face, but she also did a climax kick to the groin, cutting off Ma's lineage. Jin bro, what do we do? Yuchu was a little nervous. Looks like we'll have to go a little harder, Maosheng said with a cold smile. Let's go. Yushu continued swinging her fists at the monsters after taking care of the faceless man, only to realize that the other faceless man was the only one that was real. She couldn't touch them at all. Lin Yi looked at Ma pitifully, feeling a chill in his heart. This Yushu girl sure was ruthless. He hadn't even made a move, and Ma was crippled by her kick. Chapter 261. Chapter 261 Yushu, Ghost Hunter, Part 2, Meng Yarrow jumped in fright. How did this zombie know her name? She didn't care about the other zombies, but this zombie was shouting her name. How could she not be afraid? Hey! Yushu was puzzled. Yarrow, is this zombie intelligent? It even knows your name. How would I know? Shoo, I'm a little scared. Meng Yarrow was starting to feel weird. How did this zombie know her name? Maybe the staff of the amusement park recognized you as Uncle Chu's daughter and changed the procedure to please you? Yushu thought about it. It was the only possibility. She couldn't think of any other possibilities, since there was no need to register one's name when buying a ticket. Shoo, I'm a little scared. Let's go. Meng Yarrow didn't want to stay here any longer. The things here were making her uncomfortable. It's fine, Yarrow. Let me help you get rid of this zombie. Yushu, on the other hand, charged at the zombie excitedly. La, I'm a little expert at ghost hunting. Yushu rushed to the zombie's side and stomped down hard on the zombie's instep, causing Yushu to howl in pain as he bounced to the side on his tiptoes, much faster than before. Yay, Yarrow, look. I beat the zombie away, Yushu said with a triumphant smile on her face as she watched the zombie run away. What a good program design. Let's get Uncle Chu to praise him. This zombie can still run away after getting stepped on. Meng Yarrow was amused by Yushu. She now believed Yushu's conjecture that someone must have recognized her identity as Miss Chu and purposely changed the haunted house's computer program to please her. Meng Yao's eyes lit up at the sight of Yushu. Meng Yarrow wasn't that scared anymore after Yushu's teasing. She turned to Lin Yi as she watched the zombie run away faster than a rabbit. Lin Yi, go catch that zombie for me. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. Yu Chu Zhong immediately cursed inwardly. Could it be that this lady is thinking of some kind of trick to mess with me again? He was just about to speed up and leave this place when he felt someone grab him by the back of his neck. His body lightened, and he was sent flying, landing heavily at Meng Yarrow and Yushu's feet. Ha, the zombies are back. Yarrow Yarrow sis, let's continue playing zombies. With that, Yushu jumped up from the ground and stomped on Yuchu's stomach with both feet, stomping and kicking it. Yuchu let out a blood-curdling scream. He felt as if his intestines were about to be trampled out. His eyes rolled back from the pain, and he fainted. Boring. Yushu said as she jumped down after stomping on the zombie a couple more times. This zombie's quality is really bad. I only stepped on it a couple of times and it's already broken. I wonder which company made it. Tell Uncle Chu to complain about them. Haha. Meng Yarrow found it funny. That was a model for the haunted house. It'd be a wonder if it wasn't broken after you stepped on it. Maroshing looked at Yuchu, a black line forming on his forehead. Why was this Yushu girl even fiercer than that Linyi bodyguard? His plan was basically ruined by Yushu, and there was no point in trying to scare Meng Yarrow anymore. Meng Yarrow wouldn't be scared anymore. Maroshing was a little resentful. Meng Yarrow was clearly afraid of ghosts, and she was already terrified when Ma patted her. If he and Yuchu had cooperated, Meng Yarrow would have been scared out of her wit. In actuality, he could tell that Meng Yarrow was really scared of these things, but Yushu just had to start messing around with Ma the moment he appeared. Not only did she break Ma's line, but Zhong Yuxing's intestines had probably shifted as well. What the hell was going on? Getting stepped on instead of pretending to be a ghost. Was there anything that unlucky in this world? Could it be even more unlucky? His plan of scaring Meng Yarrow to death wasn't going to work anymore, and Maroshing looked a little regretful. Still, he wouldn't continue with something he couldn't do. There was no point in pretending to be a ghost anymore, and he decided to leave first. He'd have to figure out the next step of his plan. He had to kill Meng Yarrow today. Maroshing turned to leave when he heard Yushu's angry yell. Where are you going, vampire? Maoshing's vision darkened, and he almost fell to the ground. Why wasn't she letting him run? Maroshing was about to speed up his footsteps and ignore the girl when something smashed into the back of his head with a loud thud, followed by a wave of pain as he fell to the ground, staggering. Yeah. One hit. That vampire's too weak. Yushu was dancing with joy as she tossed out one of the zombie's shoes. Shoo, why's there blood on the back of that vampire's head? Meng Yarrow asked curiously as she looked at the fallen Maroshing. It looks real, I guess. Yushu didn't know what was going on, but she didn't mind. Who cares? Let's go, Yarrow Yarrow. We'll continue hunting ghost. Oh, okay. Meng Yarrow nodded as she followed Yushu. Linyi looked at the two on the ground, speechless. These two idiots were just too unlucky to be treated as toys by Yushu. There weren't any more ghosts for Yushu to kill, and she was still looking forward to it even after they left the haunted house. Only 3 ghosts, that's a little too little. Yarrow Yarrow, can you suggest to Uncle Chu that we add a few more? We'll come again next time. I did, but you broke them again, didn't you? Meng Yarrow still hadn't realized that those 3 were real people, not props. Hee hee. Yushu stuck her tongue out. I regret not bringing a DV. I could have recorded it and let people see how cool I look when I fight Ghost. This trip to the haunted house took about an hour. Including the time they had spent waiting, it was almost noon. Yarrow Yarrow, should we go eat something first or go bungee jumping first? Yushu was a little hungry. Let's eat first. I'm a little hungry too. Meng Yarrow was a little tired after going around the haunted house. There were a lot of fast food restaurants in the amusement park, and Meng Yarrow and Yushu found a place with a decent ambience and found a place to sit down. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.